It's the 11th of August 2023. You wake up and the first thing that you do is grab your phone, because let's be honest, what else could your TikTok fried brain be doing first thing in the morning? Of course you are doing your morning routine. So you grab your phone, which was probably laying under your pillow or something. I bet it was also the last thing that you did before going to sleep last night. But I'm not gonna judge you, because I do the same shit. Anyway, so you grab your phone and you do your morning routine, which is, I don't know, Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, Twitter. I don't know, does anyone even still use Twitter? Of course not, because it's X now. However, it's finally time for our favorite YouTube. You check your timeline and then you see something extraordinary. Something you've been waiting for about 7 years, actually. It is a trailer announcing a completely new game in the South Park universe, titled South Park Snow Day. I'm not gonna lie to you, words cannot describe how happy and fucking excited I was when I first saw this video. I mean, when I saw that this video was uploaded, because then something even more extraordinary has happened. I clicked on this video, yeah, I did. And what have I noticed? What have I witnessed? Well...
Whoa, kid! It's so beautiful! It's a snow day, the most magical of days in a young child's life.
God damn. It felt like going back to the 90s again. I mean, I was born in 2000, so I don't really remember the 90s, but you know what I mean. Many people started hating on this game from the start, just after seeing the trailer, and I can't blame them, because South Park in 3D is something that I wouldn't really want to associate with, if that makes sense. And just the fact that the trailer got just over 1 million views, where even a short video that was released a couple months earlier, which was about Cartman trying to convince his mom to buy him an iPad, got nearly twice as many views. Yeah, 1 million views for a game trailer reveal is not really something that we consider as successful. After watching the trailer, the game seemed like a failure to me from the start. It gave me the vibe of the era of South Park games before Stick of Truth, and we know how shitty they were. But there was one thing that I kept in mind. This game is made in collaboration with Matt Stone and Trey Parker, like they were fully involved in this game. They were also lending their voices and closely collaborating with the game developers. So I think that could only mean one thing. They couldn't disappoint, right? There is only one question now. Is South Park Snow Day really that bad? Did it deserve the hate it received? I mean, well, right now it's already 2 questions, but fuck it. I'm gonna try to answer these 2 questions in today's video. Enjoy watching. Oh, also, let me just remind you that I don't really do reviews quite often, so I might be really bad at this. I will just do my best to give you my personal opinion, and I hope some of the arguments will actually make sense. Okay, so let's start from the scratch. What is South Park Snow Day? According to Wikipedia, it's an action-adventure game developed by Question LLC. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never actually heard of this company, so that was already a red flag, because I did a little bit of research and I realized that they only released 3 games, with South Park including. The first 2 games I've never actually heard of. By saying I did a little bit of research, I literally just mean that I googled Question LLC games. That was it. Anyway, this game was published by THQ Nordic, which already sounds a little bit better, because they made games, they published games, and apparently they weren't that bad. I mean, they are kind of popular, such as like Wreckfest or Destroy All Humans, Darksiders. What else? Gothic, I don't know how you pronounce that shit, but yeah, Gothic was quite nice. I'm not going to lie. What else have they made? Desperados, yeah. Have you ever played this game? Yeah, me neither. But yeah, maybe it's not going to be that bad, huh? Huh, guys? Although this game presents itself as a sequel to the last two previous games, we can see from the very beginning that it's clear that this game won't be comparable to the Stick of Truth or the Fractured But Whole at all. The reason behind this is that the game takes us into the world of 3D, where combat happens to be in real time, which is already different than the two previous turn-based games. What's also worth to mention is that the game offers a cooperation up to 4 players. Apparently it's online and offline as well, and to be fair with you, I can't really imagine this game being a split screen with 4 people, so would the screen be split into 4 parts? I don't know. However, even if you are an introvert or a loner, or maybe you just simply don't have friends, you can also play solo. Yes, they thought about you. So, when you play solo, you will have 3 NPCs next to you, like your allies. And their artificial intelligence is really not that bad. They are quite smart. So you see, one problem is already solved, because now you have 3 friends. You can talk to them, you can heal them, you can revive them, because that's what friends do. So that's already a massive plus to this game. That's a big advantage. Let's focus on the plot. The game starts in Cartman's house in a 2D format. Cartman is really excited because he hopes that they're gonna cancel Skill just because of the intense snowstorm that is happening. His mother is watching the news and is shocked by the damage and casualties reported in the so-called blizzard of the century. On the next day, school does actually get cancelled, which makes Cartman really happy. He leaves the house as soon as possible, dressed as the Grand Wizard to play with the other kids. Surprisingly, as soon as he opens the door, the 3D world is being rebuilt, which is the first flaw that I saw in this game, because the lack of explanation for the transition between 2D and 3D is really disappointing, especially considering the creativity of South Park's creators. Like, I thought it's gonna be explained somehow how come they are in 3D world from now on. As for the game's gameplay itself, it is not extremely innovative, I must say. The entire mechanics are based on the so-called runs, during which you have to defeat enemies, collect resources, and progress further in the plot. And that's it. There are unfortunately only 5 runs, which is a massive flaw of this game. The game is just too short. Yeah. It's so fucking short. If you try hard, you can complete the game in like 5-6 hours. I've completed it in 13 hours, but I did it on the hardest difficulty, and okay, let's admit it, I'm just bad. Yeah, it took 13 hours to me. But anyway, the runs are selected from the main hub, which is Kingdom of Koopa Keep. So, well, basically, if you've ever had the chance to play a game called Deep Rock Galactic, you know what it's about. So it's basically the same mechanic, where you've got the main hub and you have to go on a mission to collect resources and shit, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, the game is very short, but besides that, it also seems to have been created quite quickly. Like, I don't really want to say that it's a cash grab, because the game, it kind of feels like a cash grab, but there are also many aspects of this game that were really nice, especially for South Park fans. So I don't really want to call this game a cash grab, but it really felt like it was made in like 1-2 years. Like, they didn't pay enough attention to this game. Like they didn't put much effort to this game. That's how it feels like. In these runs, the missions are very similar to each other. Only the map, enemy difficulty, and some story-related cutscenes are changed. As for the plot itself, I have to admit that the creators didn't disappoint in this case. Despite the short time, they managed to build quite an interesting narrative, while maintaining the South Park spirit and humor, so that's a good thing. However, many characters were completely omitted, avoided, which I consider a huge minus, especially when the possibilities were enormous. Even such an iconic character as Randy appears only twice, and Towley, for example, never appears. Can you fucking imagine? It's not South Park without Tally, for fuck's sake. Okay, if you wanna focus on the difficulty of the game, the only acceptable level is hard. There's no way around this, because only then you can feel that the game is actually challenging. Other than that, normal can be done on one run, and I'm not even joking. I didn't even try easy because normal already felt easy. There is such a massive gap between normal and hard you can't even imagine. Because in the hard mode, you actually need to think about your character builds, about upgrades that you're taking, about cards that you're taking from Henrietta. You need to look for them toilet paper in order to be OP, in order to break the game just like the two previous ones. The combat itself does look a little bit chaotic, but in this chaos there can be found lots of fun, especially when you are playing with friends. I don't know why, but there is just something to it. Since you are playing on the hard difficulty and the combat is already difficult, you actually need to think about what you are doing, and that makes the game interesting, the combat interesting. So I would say the combat is an advantage actually, but only if you play on the hardest difficulty. Also, the reason why the combat is engaging is because, as I mentioned earlier, your allies' AI is quite clever, which means that your enemies are not stupid as well. This requires tactics. What I also, maybe you died or you glitched out, so you have to start a mission from scratch. The map changes a little bit. It's because the run is separated into several chapters, I would say, and these chapters are mixed out whenever you repeat a mission. So if you were doing a chapter 1 right now and then chapter 2 in the same mission, then if you repeat that mission, you would most likely do chapter 2 first and then chapter 1 after that. I hope it makes sense. And I really liked this approach because it felt like a completely new adventure. This is actually the first time that I've come across something like this in this type of game. The last thing that deserves praise is the graphics. The snowy atmosphere and lighting are simply amazing, I'm telling you that right now. It was giving me a strange but pleasant at the same time feeling of nostalgia. I think it's also because it was made on Unreal Engine 5, so the graphics had to be good, and lighting as well. Okay, to summarize my pierdolamento, because I feel like I'm talking bullshit right now. South Park Snow Day is definitely not for everyone, especially those who aren't fans of the show. If you are expecting the same experiences as in the previous two games, you may be very disappointed. Oh no, actually, you will be very disappointed. However, does the game deserve the hate it has received? In my opinion, yes, actually. Because South Park fans have been waiting for this moment for 7 years, and this is not something that we would expect to see after 7 years. My official statement is that if this game was released 2 or maybe 3 years at most after the Fractured Butthole, I would be very positively surprised. However, now that we have to wait at least another 5 years or something to get a new game from this universe, I feel disappointed. But it doesn't mean that I didn't have fun while playing this game. Actually, I had a great time. As I mentioned earlier, the combat was engaging, and there was also a little bit of South Park humor. So this is exactly what I needed because I actually love South Park. So yeah, I had a great time. It's just not something that I would expect. Oh, it's also worth noting that this game didn't really have many bugs or glitches, and I know that this argumentation wouldn't be taken seriously a couple years ago, but nowadays, where almost every game is postponed and has multiple glitches and bugs or is basically broken, we actually need to praise a game that was released without any delays and that was running fairly smoothly. When it comes to rating, as a player, I would give this game maybe 4 out of 10, but as a South Park fan, I'm gonna give it a strong 6 out of 10, because I had fun while playing this game. Yeah, I think I don't really have anything to add. You can of course let me know what you think about this game. Did the game disappoint you, or maybe you also had a great time? The comment section is of course yours, if anyone even wants to watch this worthless video. You can also let me know how I managed to do this review, and maybe if I should improve something, because this is only my second review The first one that I've done was for Days Gone, and it was in Polish, so I don't really have much experience of that shit at all. So yeah, you can let me know. If you didn't like this video, you can give a dislike. I really don't care. You can also call me a filthy Pole. I also don't care. I only care about these comments, you know. It doesn't matter how they talk about you. It matters that they do talk about you. So yeah, goodbye, and I'm gonna see you in another 5 years to give another review of another South Park game, if that's ever gonna happen. Yeah, so goodbye. Big Bound, Wand, Bubble Shield.